Hello, good morning, everyone. Are we good this morning? If you can hear me clearly and you can see my screen, kindly type in hi in the comment section. Let's ensure we are on the same page before we get the party started. Okay, 959, thank you for that confirmation. Diaba, good morning to you. Okay, this box 77, hi, thank you for the confirmation. Hapcom, hi, thank you. Skyhawk, good morning. Trust we are doing great this morning. Well, the weather is a little bit chilly in this part of the world. We are about 24 degrees Celsius, and I think we are the weather is still manageable here. And how is it over there? So I want to welcome you all to yet another beautiful session of Extreme Speed Live, hosted by my humble self, Sheriff Daramola. I shall be taking you on a trading journey as usual, as we shall be evaluating the market using various parameters, especially technical structures like reversal patterns, identification of trend line continuation patterns, market structures, and we shall be using these parameters to decipher any trading opportunities lining up for us this week and this New York session preferably. And in addition to that, we are going to be looking at the pairs we deliberated on yesterday. We were able to look at almost, I think, 7 to 8 pairs yesterday. So we shall be taking a look at each of these pairs one by one to see how well we are doing on those pairs, and if we have any plans against the New York session today, I will be sharing with you. Also, if you have any pair or commodity you want us to look at, feel free to drop it in the comment section and I will be willing to inculcate it into my schedule for today. So without further ado, fasten your seatbelt and let's dive into the chart and let's see what is happening in the market right now. Well, the first pair we're going to be deliberating on is going to be the US oil. And on the US oil, remember we had two scenarios we were looking out for yesterday. And the first thing we observed here on the US oil was that price action has been consolidating around a strong demand zone during the course of the later part of last week trading session stroke the early hours of this week's session. And we were able to identify two parameters. And the first parameter is this bearish trend line here, which I said we shall be looking forward to a breakout of that bearish trend line around this area. Hold on a second. We said we'll be looking forward to a breakout of this bearish trend line, which finally happened during the later part of yesterday's New York session, and we were expecting that if we see a breakout of that structure, then we want to be looking for further confirmation in the form of a retest of that level, after which we'll be looking for reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. And lo and behold, we already have structures lining up according to our expectation. As the other scenario didn't yield, the other scenario we painted was that if we have an outright breakdown of this demand zone, then a retest of this level should give us confirmation to the downtrend, but that did not happen. Instead, we had that bullish momentum that took us out of that structure to give us a clue into a possible reversal pattern lining up here. Now that we have the scenario here, if you are taking advantage of that move right from this level, kudos to you, as right now you will be in about how many pips in profit right now? With about 100 pips right now. So if you are in this trade already, the first thing I will be saying at this point is to lock in your profit. move your stop loss to break even somewhere around above the $89 level appears to be most appropriate to move in your stop loss, so that we can lock in our position, as we don't want to get caught up in any unnecessary bearish momentum that could take us out of the position we are in right now. So now that we have this setup already unfolding, what is going to be our expectation during the New York session today? Well, with a level identified at $89 level, I want to be using this level as our yardstick going forward, as anywhere right above this level seems most appropriate to be taking advantage of any bullish momentum here on the US oil. And in addition to that, it is appropriate that we also label this area as a demand structure that we want to be using. As we can see, we saw multiple rejections from this level, turning this area into something that looks like a reversal pattern that pushed price out of that structure. So let's label this area our new demand zone for the week. So we're going to be using this level as a yardstick for any bullish potential going forward. So let's label this area the demand zone. We have our demand zone here. Let's place it right inside and within the box here. So we have a demand structure here going forward. Now, if you had missed this move right from this level, how do you intend joining the potential rally that is already unfolding right now? Well, let's look at what's happening on the lower time frame. Let's say the 15 minutes time frame, for instance. Let's see what we have here. So if we look at the structure we have here, the lowest point we have here is at around the $87.50 level. So what I want to be doing here is to connect the series of lower highs. Now we have this low here. We have the price came as high as $91 level before we saw this next low here. So I want to be connecting the series of higher lows at this point so that we can be using it as our yardstick going forward. So this is what we have here right now. We have this. Let me extend this a little bit into the future, and this shall be our guide for any bullish momentum going forward. So let me readjust this to suit in. Okay, so if you had missed this move right here, that is, if you have missed this move, the bullish momentum right from the $89 level here, then I will be suggesting that you can wait for price action to come back and do a retest of that bullish trend line, and we look out for patterns that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So this is the other scenario we want to be looking forward to. So if you had missed this move here, you might want to wait for price action to come towards this area, and then you can take advantage of a bullish momentum from there. Now, where did we say our take profit target is going to be during the course of yesterday's trading session? Where we were able to identify somewhere around the key level we had here at the $93 mark, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we were able to identify on the higher time frame. So we are not sure how price is going to relate with that level. If price continues to go to the upside, we don't know if we are going to be seeing a reversal pattern from this point that will be pushing price to the downside, and that's a very good possibility considering the long-term bearish momentum on this pair. Or we could be expecting that price is going to break out of that bearish trend line with the intention of a retest of structure to give us further confirmation of a trend continuation to the upside. So pending the time this is going to be happening, what we want to be doing here is to have our take profit target within the $93-94 area, at least for the meantime, after which we look out for how price is going to relate with that level, and that's going to be dovetailing to at least about the 350-400 pips to catch here. Now, the other scenario I also want to state here is this. If price breaks above, with this move that is going forward now, if price breaks above the $90.50 level, and then we see a retest of the $90.50 level, which also shares a confluence with the new bullish trend line we identified on the lower time frame, we want to be looking forward to a structure like a reversal pattern to welcome another opportunity. So that is, if we see a reversal pattern right above the $90 level after the breakout, remember, and which also shares a confluence with the bullish trend line we've identified here on the 15 minutes time frame, we want to be looking for an opportunity to add one more position to our existing trade. So let's see how price action is going to play out during the New York session from this point. I'm hoping that the bullish potential takes us significantly well through to the later parts of the week on this one. So if you're taking that move right from that point, kudos to you for identifying and being on standby to take advantage of that bullish momentum. So let's see how price action is going to play out. If you have any question regarding the US oil, or probably you want me to shed more light on what I've discussed so far, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, and I shall be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to quickly read through the chat and see if there are any inquiries regarding what I've just discussed so far. Okay. Diaba wants us to do Euro TRY. Okay, let's see if we can be able to incorporate that into our session for today. Okay. Please kindly confirm you can hear me clearly. I think someone is mentioning here that you can hear me clearly. Please confirm, please. If you cannot hear me, please let me know so that I can make necessary adjustment to my audio settings here, please. 359. Good morning. Good morning to you. Glad to have you around. Oh, you can hear me, but it breaks. I see. That must. Let me see what's happening here. Okay, 563 is saying very clear. Oh, well, should I? Okay, can someone else please confirm for me so that I can know that I'm very, very audible. So we have two people, three people already. 359, you're welcome. Can you hear me? 359, is the audio very good? Please confirm for us so that we can move on from here. I have someone saying that it's not clear. I have someone saying it's clear. I need further confirmations that I'm very audible so that we are on the same page on this one. Simoka, hi. I hope you can hear me. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much, 359. That's great. So I think we should move on right now. I think Ashitaka is confirming that, okay, Upcom. All right, good. Thank you very much, guys. I'm grateful for that confirmation. So on the US oil, we remain bullish here. We're expecting that, so going into the New York session on the US oil, we expect two parameters to be guiding our actions going forward. The first parameter is the 89 level, which we identify here, and the other parameter is this bullish trend line. So if you are taking advantage of that move, move your stop loss to break even right now so that we can lock in some profit, or probably move it in such a way that you are not going to be losing when price does a sudden reversal at this point. So let's see how price action plays out during the New York session on the US oil. So now let's move on to the next pair we deliberated on yesterday, and the next pair is the US tech. I can remember yesterday we were talking about a bearish momentum here on the US tech, as we were able to identify a resistant level right around the $13,000 350 level, which you can see on your screen with the purple zone which we identify here. But let's see what happened in the last 24 hours here, as we can see that price actually came back into that level one more time with a rejection, which sent price crashing down with consecutive bearish engulfing candles that took price right through the bullish trend line we identified, which you can see on your screen with the dotted line. Now we have a scenario that we are looking out for. Well, if you remember vividly yesterday, we were saying that we're expecting price to break down, retest of that bullish trend line to give us further confirmation that we are actually going bearish. Now we have a scenario here. Price came down here a little bit, does a retest of that structure, which also shares a confluence with the key level we have here on the $13,200 level, and we saw multiple rejection of that level to push price to the downside here. So if you are taking advantage of this move right now, kudos to you, for you now being about how many pips in profit right now, about 90 to 100 pips in profit at this point in time. But it's okay if you had missed this opportunity. We're still going to be having further possibility here. But before I do that, I want to scale up to a little bit to the 4 hours time frame so that we can have an holistic perspective of what our expectations are on the US tech. Now moving on to the 4 hours time frame, we were able to observe that price has been on a downtrend since how long was that? I think since the beginning of the year it has been on a downtrend. We were able to identify lower highs, and we were able to connect the series of lower highs to give us this bearish trend line that we have here. So you can see the bearish trend line on your screen with the black dotted line, and price has continued to respect that bearish trend line since the beginning of the year. Now, if we zoom into what is happening right now, at least within the last couple of days, we can see that price is right back at that bearish trend line. You can see, and within that bearish trend line, we can see that we've been having something that looks like a consolidation phase, and at the same time, this consolidation phase is evolving into what looks like a reversal pattern. Give me a moment, I'll be showing you what I mean by the reversal pattern here. If we look at the structure we have here, we have this impulsive move to the upside here. As soon as price tested the $13,350 level, we saw a move to the downside, and price came back to do a sharp rejection of that level. You can see price did not spend too much time around that level, giving us a clue into the strength of the sellers at this point in the market. And we saw an engulfing candle which took price right back into the $13,100 level. So you can see that this looks more like a reversal pattern in the form of a double top structure. And the last time I checked, the double top structure is a very, very strong reversal pattern from a technical perspective. So what we want to be looking forward to at this point, so if you had missed that opportunity during the course of yesterday's trading session, well, there is something to play around with right now. Now, we want to wait for price to do a breakdown of the neckline of that reversal pattern, that is the double top structure, a retest of structure to join the decline to the downside. So what we want to be doing here on the 4 hours time frame is to identify the neckline, and we shall be using that neckline as our key level going forward. So we're going to be moving this key level from 13,200. Remember, this was just a scenario we were looking at the beginning of the week, but right now structure has changed and we need to be flexible enough to move along with the current structure. So the current structure now, we have a neckline right here. Hold on a second, let me bring out my line chart at this point. So we have a key level right here at $13,100, a very, very strong psychological level considering the round figure we have here. So this is our neckline of the reversal pattern, and we anticipate a breakdown of that reversal pattern. So we have a double top structure here. We anticipate a breakdown of that reversal pattern. If you're a long-term trader, you should be patient enough to wait for this to happen. When we see the breakdown of that reversal pattern, we have a signal. Remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for further confirmation in what? In the form of a retest of structure. So when we see a retest of this key level or this bearish trend line here, then we could take advantage of the bearish momentum at the site of a reversal pattern on our lower time frame to enjoy the rally into the downside. So this is what we are going to be looking forward to. Remember, during the course of yesterday, because we were not yet sure how price is going to play out this week, we had our take profit target around the $12,900 level, which if you're already in the trade already, you should be aiming at about 200 to 250 to 300 pips right now. So but if you are not in that trade and you are a long-term trader like me, you want to wait for price action to give us that further signal in the form of a breakdown of the reversal pattern here, then a retest of structure should give us further confirmation. I think this should take about it could take a day, it could take 12 hours before this could actually happen, at least a minimum of 12 hours thereabouts for this to happen. So we need to be very patient on the US tech for that signal to finally come in. And one thing I want to be saying here is this, especially for those who are already in this trade: as soon as price gets into this level, we want to see if we are going to be having a breakdown of the structure. So if we have a breakdown of the structure and a retest, then another position is likely, another setup for us adding another position to the existing trade appears to be becoming very valid at this point. So let's see how price action is going to play out from those points during the course of the week. And I hope we're going to be on standby to take advantage of this move when it finally happens. So that is that on the US tech. I think I've made myself very clear. However, if you have any question whatsoever and you think you need further clarification in some certain aspect of what I just discussed here, feel free to drop a word or two. And I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds as usual to read through the chat and see if there are any questions in that regard. So if you have questions on US tech, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section and I will be willing to be of help. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, I want to assume that in the absence of no questions, my explanation so far has been very clear. So I think it's high time we moved on to the next pair, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next pair. The next pair we'll be deliberating on is the GBP USD. Remember, during the course of yesterday, we were expecting a bearish momentum here on the GBP USD. And what do we have here? I remember that we were expecting a breakdown retest of structure. Hold on a second. Let's have a clean chart so that we can see what my expectations were yesterday on the GBP USD. Fine. Okay. So now on the 4 hours time frame. First of all, let's go to the higher time frame here. So on the 4 hours time frame, what was our expectation here on the 4 hours time frame? Well, the first thing we observed here on the 4 hours time frame is that price action has actually come back into the bearish trend line we identified on the daily time frame. If you are here with me yesterday, we shared we had a bearish trend line that has been respected since the beginning of the year, and we have price right within that area. And one interesting thing that came up after price came around that bearish trend line is that we had a reversal pattern. Now I will show you that reversal pattern. We had a reversal pattern here. So we saw the left shoulder here, we saw the left shoulder, we saw the head, and we saw the right shoulder at this point, which is quite lower than the left shoulder, giving us a good signal that this is a good reversal pattern. That is a matured inverse head, a matured head and shoulder pattern. Sorry. So now During the course of the later part of last week's trading session, we saw the significant breakdown of the structure. So the signal breakdown of the structure gives us the signal that we actually going bearish. That is, we have a reversal pattern fully confirmed. So what we were looking forward to as at yesterday was that we were looking forward to a retest of structure to give us further confirmation that we are going bearish. Now we had the retest of the structure right now. I think during the course of the New York session yesterday, we saw a retest of that structure. That is the neckline at 1.21100 level. Price came back again and we had the second retest of that structure. So one thing we want to be doing here, I'm actually in this trade already, and I think price action is back at my break-even level because we entered around the neckline here during the New York session yesterday. So we want to see how this candle is going to go. Right now, this candle is about, we're on the 4 hours time frame, and this candle is about an hour 30 minutes old, and we still have about 2 hours 30 minutes for this candle to close. So we want to see if really this level is going to hold price action for a downtrend scenario. Now that is the first parameter we have here, that is the reversal pattern. Then the other parameter we're having on this one is the bearish trend line we were able to identify yesterday. We have this red dotted line. After connecting the series of lower highs, since price tested the bearish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, we were able to connect the series of lower highs to have this bearish trend line. And if you look at the structure in the last 24 hours, price is still around that bearish trend line. So I want to continue to see price oscillate right below that neckline to give me further confirmation that we're actually going bearish, and this could probably welcome more position, that I might be scaling in more position on this one. So one thing I want to be looking forward to is price to come back down below this bearish trend line one more time, probably do a retest of that bearish trend line on lower time frame, then I could be adding more position to this trade. So this is the scenario I'm looking forward to on the GBP USD. And however, it is very important, it's very worthy that we also take into consideration other possibilities that could be happening on the structure. And the reason why we want to be taking other consideration into our perspective is because anything could actually happen during the New York session. And when that happens, I'm not going to be around to inform you of what to do, but if you are well equipped before the New York session, you already see all the possible scenarios that could come up, then it will not catch you by surprise. So now, the other scenario I'm looking forward to on the GBPUSD, that is if this bearish momentum did not unfold as expected, is that we could be seeing a breakout of this bearish trend line. That is the red dotted line here, which also shares a confluence with the neckline at 1.21100 level. So if we have an outright breakout of that level, then that gives us a signal into a possible bullish momentum unfolding. But remember, we don't get too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for further confirmation, and this confirmation will either come in form of the retest of the neckline at 1.21100 or probably come back to do a retest of the bearish dotted red line we have here, where we'll be looking forward to reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. So these are the second scenario we want to be looking forward to, that is if the bearish momentum we are looking forward to did not happen as expected. So if we have a breakout retest of structure, we want to be joining the rally with a take profit target at around the 1.235 area, which will dovetail to, let's see how many pips that is. That's around 200 pips to catch there. But there is a caveat to this move, that is this bullish momentum. If it happens, as soon as price comes back into this bearish trend line we identify here, we want to be moving our stop loss to break even or probably lock in some profit, because we don't know how price is going to relate with this level. Are we going to be having a reversal pattern that will send price crashing, or are we going to be having a breakout of the structure that will give us that leverage to join a further trend continuation to the upside? So these are the scenarios we want to be looking forward to on the GBPUSD. But as of now, as as the case is right now, the bearish momentum on the GBPUSD is still very, very valid, not until we see a breakout of that, a significant breakout of the bearish trend line, which also shares a confluence with the neckline here. So this is the scenario we're looking forward to on the GBPUSD. And for the bearish momentum here, where will our take profit target be? Remember, during the course of yesterday, we were able to identify a TP target for selling momentum right within the 1.19 area and the 1.194 area, which will dovetail to about at least a minimum of 170 pips thereabout, after which if we see price action do a breakdown of this level, retest of this bearish trend line in one way or the other, we don't know when that's going to happen, then we should be adding more position to our existing trade on this one. So let's see how price action plays out from this point. If you have any question whatsoever regarding the GBP USD we just discussed so far, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, and I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the chat and see if we have any questions whatsoever. And of course, I'm ready to answer your questions. So okay, it's okay now. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, you're welcome. 674. Hey, innocent babe, how are you doing? Good morning. A long time. It's been a while since I see you around. Trust you're doing well. What's up with GBP USD? Can we sell now? Well, of course, personally, I'm in the trade already. I told you I'm in the trade. If you've been with me on this one, we had a reversal pattern here in the form of the head and shoulder pattern. We already have a signal in the form of a breakdown of the neckline here, and price action is right back into the neckline area, giving us a retest of the neckline area here, giving us further confirmation that we have a bearish momentum here. Remember, this is a long-term bearish momentum, so selling at this point is most appropriate. However, we need to be very, very mindful that the neckline at 1.21100 area is our yardstick. We want to continue to see price rally below that level for us to be comfortable with any sudden momentum here on the GBP USD. The only scenario that is going to support a bullish momentum here, like I've said, is a significant breakout of the structure. Then we look forward to a retest of that structure to give us further confirmation of a rally. So this is what I'm looking forward to on the GBP USD. I hope I made myself clear, innocent babe. Sarah Penny, we already talked about USOil. That is always the first commodity we used to talk about on a daily basis. But if you had missed that session, I would advise that you stay tuned into the end of the session, where I will be doing a recap of what we talked about so far, so you can see what our expectations are on the US oil. I hope you stay around till then. It's okay, Sarah Payne. All right, you're welcome. Oh, glad to hear you're doing well, innocent babe. Glad to hear that. All right, so any other questions on GBPUSD? If there are none, then I will just be moving on to the next pair. Well, I'm doing very well, innocent babe. Very, very well. Thank you very much. Any questions? Any other questions whatsoever on GBPUSD? All right, in the absence of no other questions, I want to assume that this has been understood very, very well. So let's move on to the next pair. The next pair we deliberated on yesterday was I think is the gold, I guess. I think is the gold. Yes, the gold. We went on to talk about the gold, and my momentum on the gold has been bullish. In fact, I'm already in profit on this one. I took the first trade here right at this point, 1,774.569, and in fact, price just moved expected on this one. Remember when I was sharing this scenario with you yesterday? Hold on a second, let's scale down. Okay, let's stay on the 1 hour, on the 4 hours time frame, so that I can give you a perspective of what our expectations were on the higher time frame. So on the higher time frame, we had the breakdown of the bullish trend line here. I think it's more clearer on the daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we have been on a long-term bullish momentum since the beginning of the year as price action has continued to respect that bullish trend line. We can see the bullish black line here. But one interesting thing happened during the early days of the month of July, where we saw an outright breakdown of that bullish trend line, giving us a signal that a possible bearish momentum is unfolding. And from a technical perspective, we expect that if price breaks out of a structure, we expect price to come back and do a retest of that structure to give us further confirmation of a downtrend movement. And from the look of things, as soon as price came into the $1,670 level, I think $1,680 level, we begin to see a rise in price action as price continue to find higher highs and higher lows in the form of this, which appears to be taking us back into the retest of that bullish trend line that was broken during the early days of the month of July. So if that happens, we don't know if we are going to have a downtrend scenario or we are going to be having a breakout of structure that will be sending price going to the upside back again. But let's see what happened since price tested the $1,680 level. As I said, price has continued to find higher highs and higher lows. Let's scale down to the 4 hours time frame where you can see that very clearly as price was caught up in a channel as it was finding the higher highs and higher lows since the middle of the month of July. We saw this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and just like that. Now, during the course of yesterday's trading session, we were able to identify an opportunity here. And when we looked left, we looked at the structure here that happened during the course of last week's trading session. We saw this move. We saw price come down into the $1,750 level to form a reversal pattern in form of a double bottom structure. Then we saw a breakout of that structure. Now price came back to do a retest of the structure with a reversal pattern here, as since the beginning of the earlier hours of yesterday, we saw our price has been consolidating right above the neckline of the reversal pattern that was identified around this point. The reversal pattern here, we had a neckline at $1,772. Price came back into that level during the later part stroke the early hours of this week, and price was oscillating right above that level. So this gives us a sign that we might be going bullish on this one. So I told you yesterday we should be getting prepared for any bullish momentum right above this level, which I'm going down to the 1 hour time frame so that we can see what I'm talking about. Like I said since the beginning of the week, we saw our price has been consolidating within this level with signs that price is going up. So we saw the breakout of that structure. Price came back to do a retest of the structure, and I told you to enter the XAUUSD at this point and see what happened. We're already moving in about how many pips that is right now. We are in about 1,800 pips thereabout on this one. And remember yesterday I had a caveat here yesterday. I said, if you had monitored my screen yesterday, you will remember I said if price breaks out of this level, that is the $1,785 level, that is the purple line here on your screen. If price breaks above that level and we see a retest of that level, we want to add one more position to our trade. Well, I was able to do that as after I saw the first rejection, I saw the second rejection here, then I took advantage of another entry to join the decline. So I'm hoping that price will continue to the upside. At this point in time, if you're already in this trade already, kindly move your stop loss to somewhere around this area at around $1,785 level. I have my stop loss right around this area as well. So let's see how price action is going to be playing out from this point. Now, for those who had missed this trade, one way or the other, you must have missed this trade and you still want to join this rally. What are we going to be looking out for? Well, I was able to identify a level here at $1,790, and the reason why that is because of this. First, we saw multiple rejection of this level by the sellers trying to push price to the downside. But what happened afterwards? When we saw this, we saw a breakout of that structure. taking out all the selling positions at this point to give us a signal that we are actually going bullish on the gold. So now that we have a breakout of the structure, if you had missed that entry yesterday and you missed the second entry here, and now we have a third possible options to enter another bullish potential here. So if price has finally broken out of that structure we identify at $1,790 level, so what I'm looking forward to is this: if price comes back in any way on our lower time frame to do a retest of this $1,790 level, that is on lower time frame, you see something like a double bottom structure, a falling wedge, whatever reversal patterns that support a trend continuation to the upside, then you want to add one more position to this. And if you had actually missed all these opportunities since yesterday, it could be an opportunity to join the rally from this point. So this is what I'm looking forward to anyways. And for my take profit target is around the $1,800 level, somewhere around here, $805 level and $1,815 level, which also shares a confluence with somewhere around the resistance level of the ascending channel we identified on the 4 hours time frame. And how did we come about the take profit target here? Remember, we had an impulse leg here, and definitely we want to extend the impulse leg into the future. And if we do that using our Fibonacci extension tool, we aim at somewhere around the 127.2 area and the 1414 area as our take profit target zone. So that's how we got that take profit target within that area. So this is what our expectation is on the gold. So let's see how price action plays out in the New York session, and I wish you best of luck on this. Please be on standby to take advantage of this move where we have price come back to do a retest of that level at 1,790. So if you have questions whatsoever on this one, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, and I will be willing to be of help. So I'm taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the charts to see if there are any questions in this regard. Okay, 691, hi, how are you? I'm not sure I understand this one from 951. Probably is just playing with his keyboard. Okay, so I think we just have to move on to the next pair so that we will try as much as possible to cover all the pairs we deliberated on yesterday. So I want to be moving on to the next pair at this point, and that is what pair is that did we talk about yesterday? I think it's the USDJPY, I guess. Yes, I think it's the USDJPY. And on the USDJPY, we are still very price is still oscillating right within our selling zone at this point, but I would want to take some moment to share with you what brought us to this decision of selling the USDJPY. So I will be going a little bit higher into the higher time frame to see to share with you what our expectations were during the course of the live session yesterday. So one thing I want to be doing here is to clear my screen here so that we can have a clean sheet to work on. So now on the higher time frame, at least on the 4 hours time frame, on the higher time frame, let's say on the daily time frame first, we were able to connect the series of lower highs, higher lows rather, and we were able to form this bullish trend line that has been holding price action since the beginning of the year. But one thing happened during the course of the later part of the month of July, where we saw an outright breakdown of that bullish trend line that has been holding price action since the beginning of the year to give us a signal that we might be having a bearish momentum. So now we saw this significant move to the downside during the later part stroke, the early days of this month. And one thing we see after this is that price continued to find higher highs, and as soon as price tested the 135.590 level, we saw a lot of consolidation phase. And if we look closely into the structure, we can see that since the beginning, since the mid-month of July, we saw this hold on a second, we saw these lower highs, and we were able to connect the series of lower highs at this point to identify this bearish trend line, and we have price action right within this area. So I'm actually thinking of a selling opportunity right from this level, though I'm not sure if price is going to go back to test that bearish trend line. But one thing I'm going to be doing here is I want to be looking for a selling momentum around this area. So let's zoom in closely into the structure we have here. Now, if we zoom in to the structure we have here right now and look at what has been happening in the last 2 weeks, the first thing we saw is this. The last time price respected that bearish trend line was this point, and we can see what happened from that point. We saw a bearish impulse leg, and with a bearish impulse leg, we expect that price will do a retracement back into that zone, which I want to be identified as our golden zone area. And where is our golden zone area? Our golden zone area is the area between the 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg. So I want to see price retrace back into that golden zone area, where I'll be looking for a reversal pattern around this point to join the decline. Now, what are we looking out for since the beginning of the week? We've been looking forward to a reversal pattern. Now, let me show you how we got the selling opportunity zone. We run our Fibonacci retracement tool through the previous impulse leg here. And what do we have? We have between, since price has already broken out of the 50, I didn't take the 50 into consideration anymore, as between the 61.8 and the 78.6 appears to be an area where we want to be doing our sell. And if we look closely into the structure, we can see that this selling opportunity zone falls right within that bearish trend line we identified on the 4 hours time frame. So that gives us further confluences confirming that we might be having a bearish momentum during the week. So right now, we've been waiting for this reversal pattern within the zone to take advantage of that move. Now we scale down to the 15-minute time frame on the USDJPY, and we saw something that makes things more interesting in form of supporting that bearish bias we've been looking forward to. We saw a pennant here. I was able to identify this dotted green line here. We had this one. Then we saw a breakdown of that level, giving us further confirmation. In fact, it wasn't just a breakdown, it was a breakdown and retest of structure here, giving us further confirmation of joining the decline. So I joined the decline here. I think I told you also join here yesterday, and price is still right within our entry point. Now, price is still within our entry point in the last 24 hours, and I'm not sure when this movement is going to happen. But one thing we all understand is this: price is still within our selling opportunity zone, and also it's within the hold on a second, the key level we identified at $135. So we have the key level here at 135. Yeah, we have the key level here at 135. So price is right below the key level, which gives me a level of comfort that the bearish momentum is still within the perspective we are looking forward to. Now, the further confirmation we are looking forward to on this one is going to be something like a breakdown of this. So if you are not in this trade, if you're in this trade already, it's okay. Your stop loss should be right above the previous channel here, where price started this week. Price started this week at around 135 level. Then it went to a peak of 135.660. That's the peak for this week so far. So we want to be having our stop loss right above that peak. Now, a further confirmation for long-term perspective should come in form of a breakdown of this bullish trend line. So if we see a breakdown of this bullish trend line during the course of the New York session today, or probably the later part of the week, then we want to be waiting for further confirmation in the form of a retest of this bullish trend line or the key level at 135 Japanese yen for us to join the decline to the downside. So this is one thing we are looking forward to for this week. And remember, this bullish trend line is also something that should be guiding our action going forward. So we wait for this bearish moment, we wait for this breakdown to happen, then a retest to give us further confirmation to join the USDJPY sell on this one. Now, where will our take profit target be for the selling momentum? I think we were able to identify that yesterday. We had the take profit target right around the 128 Japanese yen area. And how did we get that? We saw this impulse leg here, and we were able to use our Fibonacci extension tool to extend this impulse leg into the future from this point. Let me show it to you with the aim at the between the 127.2 and the 1414 area. So this is what we have here. So we have it around this area. So that's why we have our take profit target within that area. And that will be dovetailing to about how many pips that is. That's around 700 pips on a long-term perspective. However, if we are going to be taking advantage of this trade, we'll be looking forward to a short-term perspective. That is for this week so far. I want us to be looking forward to somewhere around here as our first take profit target, as this is where price action was during the last week trading session. We can see that we have demand structures around this level. We have demand structures around this level, giving us a clue that there is a possibility that price could do some rejection around this area. So our first profit target on this one should be around the 133.500, 133 Japanese yen area, at least for the meantime, which will dovetail to about 150 pips thereabout. So, and if we further see a breakdown of this level, and the retest should give us further confirmation to keep on joining that long-term expectation we have here on the USDJPY. Now, what is the other scenario we're looking for? For those who are thinking that no, it's going to be a buy because of this bullish trend line, well, that possibility is also very valid. But one thing I want to be saying here is this: considering the bearish momentum we've been experiencing since the middle of July, I'm holding a bearish momentum. However, for any bullish momentum to happen here, I want to see a breakout of that bearish trend line. So if I see a breakout of this bearish trend line at this point, then I want to be having this as a signal that a bullish momentum is unfolding at this point in time. Remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for price action to come back and do a retest of that level. So if price come back to do a retest of that level, you can see it also shares a confluence with that bullish trend line. Then we could be looking forward to a reversal pattern to join the rally to the upside. So these are the scenarios we're looking forward to. I still maintain a bearish momentum on the USDJPY unless I see a breakout of that bearish trend line. So this is my scenario on the USDJPY so far, and I think we are almost out of time, and this will definitely be the last pair we'll be deliberating on today. So what I'll be doing at this point is to ask if you have any question whatsoever on this pair we just deliberated on, while I move on to do a recap of what we have discussed so far for the day. So the first pair we deliberated on today was the US oil, and on the US oil we're expecting that bullish momentum to take us through into the 93, 94, $95 area, which is our take profit target, and it appears things are unfolding as expected. Now we already have a breakout of that $90.50 level. This candle is yet to close. We have this candle closing the next 2 minutes. So let's see how this candle closes. If this candle closes above, then a retest of this structure, that is for those who have actually missed the opportunity we had, we speculated yesterday, a retest of this level or this bullish trend line should give us further confirmation to join the rally. And for those who are already in this trade, it's an opportunity to add more position to your existing trade. So this is what we're looking forward to on the US oil. Take profit target between the 93, 94, $95 area, which we which shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we identified on the higher time frame. So the reason why we're having our take profit target around this area is simply because of this bearish trend line here, and we are not sure how price is going to relate with that level. So we want to see how price relates with that level before we now think of either a reversal pattern from here, or probably we're going to be having a breakout of that structure to give us confirmation of a trend continuation to the upside. So this is the perspective you have here on the US oil. So we move on to talk about the US tech, where I'm expecting a bearish momentum here. And I explained to you that we were actually expecting a breakdown retest of this bearish trend line, which later happened during the early hours of today. And I gave kudos to those who took advantage of that move. Price has moved as expected. Then I also shared with you, after we moved on to the higher time frame on the US tech, that for those who are long-term traders, we already have a reversal pattern here on the 4 hours time frame. After this impulsive move, we saw a double rejection of the 13,350 level, giving us a reversal pattern in the form of a double top structure. So we have a neckline at $13,100 right now. We want to be waiting for a confirmation in form of a breakdown of that neckline, a signal in the form of a breakdown of that neckline, then a retest of that neckline at 13,100 level with patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the downside. So bearish momentum still remain valid on the US tech. So I would advise that you remain on standby if you are here to take advantage of that move, so that you can look forward to this breakdown retest of structure to join the decline. Then we moved on to talk about the GBP USD, where we are still holding a bearish perspective here on the GBP USD after we identified a reversal pattern on the 4 hours time frame in the form of a head and shoulder pattern. Here we saw this reversal pattern here, and we saw a significant breakdown of this reversal pattern during the later part of last week's trading session. Then we saw rejection of this neckline here, and it appears price came back again this morning to come back into this neckline. So I'm expecting price to continue to the downside from this area. In the meantime, we have our take profit target at 1.19300 area level. So if price later breaks that level to the downside, then we could be looking forward to adding more position at a breakdown retest of that structure. So going into the New York session, we have two parameters guiding us on the GBP USD. The first parameter is the neckline at 1.21100 level, and the bearish trend line we can see on your screen with the red dotted line guiding our action going forward. So we have two parameters guiding our action. So we want to continue to see price right below both parameters to be comfortable in our selling position. Then the other scenario, which I also explained, that's in case, that's just if, it's a conditional statement. That's if we have a breakout of the neckline, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line, then we could be having a possible shift in momentum. And if that happens, we want to be looking forward to a retest of structure to give us confirmation to join the rally with a take profit target at around the 1.235 level. And I made mention of something here, that as soon as price gets into this bearish trend line here, we want to lock in some profit or move our stop loss to break even to mitigate against the risk of any exposure to any sudden selling momentum from that point. So this is what we're looking forward to on the GBP USD. Then we went to talk about the, is it the gold? Yes, the gold pair, where I told you we are expected to be bullish on this one, and right now we're in profit on the GBP USD, on the XAUUSD, sorry. We are already, I think we are around 1,800 pips as at the time I was doing the analysis. Okay, right now is 1,500 pips thereabout on this one. And I told you that a breakout of the, hold on a second, $1,790 level, retest of that level should give us further confirmation to add more position to this trade. So I have two positions running on this trade, and for those who actually missed out on these trades that we've been taking since yesterday, I made mention of an opportunity coming up if we see a significant breakout of this level, which we are yet to see at this point. price closed in a shooting star candle, which is more or less a sign that we might be having a reversal pattern. So what I want to be looking forward to is a breakout with an engulfing candle, that is price closes above this level, then we wait for price action to do a retest of the structure, so you can join if you are yet to be in the trade. So our take profit target remains at around the $1,805 level or into the $1,811 area. So let's see how price action plays out from this point. And for those who already take advantage of this move since yesterday, I advised you to move your stop loss to somewhere right above the $1,785 level, so that you can actually lock in some profit and lock in your position in such a way that you don't get caught up in any sudden bearish momentum that might turn up anytime. Now, the final pair we deliberated on is the USDJPY, where I still expect the selling momentum to come in. And one thing we are looking forward to here is that when we went to the 4 hours time frame, I think the higher time frame, we saw we were able to have a bearish trend line here. After connecting the series of lower highs, we saw this bearish trend line. And one thing we saw here is that price is close to that trend line at this point. So I'm still looking for a bearish momentum here. So we're looking forward to a reversal pattern. It could be a double top structure, where we should be looking forward to a breakdown retest of this bullish trend line to join the rally to the decline to the downside. However, we scale down to the 15 minutes time frame to look at a short-term momentum, which I took an advantage of this yesterday. I also told you to take advantage of this yesterday. We saw the breakdown retest of this pennant structure. We took advantage of that move, and the last 24 hours price is still consolidating around our entry zone. So we are still waiting for that further confirmation. So if we see a breakdown of this bullish trend line, a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to add more position to our existing trade. And if you are yet to be in that trade, that will be a good signal to enter the USDJPY for a sell. Now, the other scenario I said, for those who are saying, oh, it's going to be a buy, it's going to be a buy. Okay, fine. If it's going to be a buy, well, this bullish trend line here shall be my guide. But one thing I want to see before I do any buy on the USDJPY is that I want to see price break out of that bearish trend line to give me a signal that we are going bullish. And remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of the signal. We want price to come back and do a retest of the structure that is the bullish trend line here, or somewhere around the 135,700 area, with a reversal pattern on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. But if that does not happen, I still remain very bullish here on the USDJPY. So on this note, I want to call it a day. Thank you guys for being around. I really appreciate you. You are wonderful, and I hope to see you same time tomorrow, 11 a.m. West African time, 10 a.m. UTC. Same place, Extreme Speed Life. I also implore you, call in your friends, tell your friends about this app, Extreme Speed Life app. Let them download it so that we can be here together to analyze the market, and let's make some money together. Thank you for being around. I wish you best of luck during the New York session, and do have a wonderful day.